Okay. Hello, hello, hello. If anybody is in here. Hey, Diva. How's my Diva girl? Have you been doing good? Watching me freeze. YouTube, I'm telling you, here lately has been a real pain in my Kazootska. I tried to upload a video the other day and it took forever. And I come down here and here my whole laptop was frozen. I had to take and end it and then restart it in order to get it to work. So anyways, to get started, you guys have seen me do this a couple times, those who've been on my channel for a while, but I got to start a new one because, oh, it is. What? Oh gosh, I read that wrong. Thought you said it was your birthday today. Oh my goodness, that's awful, Diva. My goodness, girl, you've been having the worst luck. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's awful. Poor girl. Oh my goodness. I'll be sending prayers your way. That's so sad. It's been a lot of harsh things happening lately. I know we had this conversation earlier about new medicines and things. I don't like to take stuff until it's out of beta stage because there's so many things that the FDA approves, and the next thing you know, they have recalls. And I know a couple people who were pregnant and they both lost their child after going off the same birth control, and it was something new. It wasn't the pill, it was something else. And they both miscarried coming off of it. So I know it was that birth control method. See ya, D. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm doing another altered book. You people are going to get sick of seeing this because that's all I've been doing on my channel. But this is actually going to be a surprise gift for someone because a friend of my mother's actually loved the one that I made for her. So she kept going on and on and on and on and on about it. So I decided to start a new one. It'll drive you people crazy that have watched because it takes a little while to do one of these. But I wanted to do it to surprise her. So I'm pretty excited. So, custom is a little different than trying to figure out what randomness is that people like. So what I do is I count the pages front to back. This book has 588 pages, which we know that's way too much. So what I did was divided it by 2 because that's front and back, counting front and back numbers. And I don't want to count front and back really because it's just the straight pages I want, not, the front and back included as one. So what I did was divided that by 2 and it come out to be 264 pages. Whew. So then when you take 50 and you divided it into the 264, you come out with 5 pages. So that means I'll have to count and take out 5 pages at a time to get this down to where I want it to be, because I want to have like 50 pages because it's too much to do 200 and 500 pages. Diva Spider, where's she at tonight? She is hanging above my head. Would you like to see her? I can show her to you maybe if it'll focus in. I don't know if it'll will or not. She's up there. She's a little tiny thing, but she's up there. She's one of those spiders that has like that little center and long legs. So she might be hard to catch on film. But she's up there. She's been killing some gnats that's been getting in. So I just leave her alone. She don't bother me. I don't bother her. I don't know if my cord will reach on my cam, Diva. But she's let me see if I can adjust it. Hold on. She's right up there. Let me see if I can get her on here. You might not be able to see her. See that little dot up there on the ceiling? It's like, you probably can see her. That's her little body. She's the darkest dot up there. And her little web is over there, like on that red wall. But that's where she hangs above my head. And she's got like a little web over here in the corner with a bunch of gnats in it. She can have them. She's keeping my gnats down. That's as close as I can get it. But she's up there. Let me get my camera hung back up here. Hold on. That'll make you people dizzy. Hopefully. I don't do tripods because they give you limited access to your desk and they get top heavy. I have one of those arms. And I'm going to be hooking another cam up to my computer upstairs so I can do some stuff up there too. Hey, Twitter Holic. How are you doing? That's Althea. I hope that's right. That's your channel, right, Althea? I hope I'm not getting the wrong person. You never know on here. So what I'll do is, this is a green book. Nice. That'll be cool. This is a green Reader's Digest that I had in a sale and it never sold. It's all banged up on the back, but this is the kind of books we like. Now, I have never done an altered book in a book this small. Usually I pick 6x9s. I thought that's who that was. And so tonight I'm going to try something smaller. And what it is the glue. When you go to glue the pages, sometimes you get more bumps in the smaller books. You'll see what I'm talking about as I go through it. But tonight we're going to be ripping pages because that's what we do with altered books. I feel better tonight. I was feeling really crappy the other night. I slept like the whole day. Sometimes I think it catches up with me, Althea. I literally passed out, seriously, and slept the whole day. I was so tired. Sometimes I have pre-recorded videos, so those are the ones that I post. I put up the pre-recorded so that I don't have to do a video of the day when I'm not feeling well. I have some sitting there for those special days because you just never know. But every once in a while, I just have those days when I'm so tired. I don't know if it's the season changes or what, because I'm so tired in the summer. It's so hot. And our central air went out. You know, that's a subject I want to bring up too as part of the chat. How many of you have heard every time they come out with something new, they'll say it's more conservative to buy say central air than use air conditioners because it saves you money. It's more energy efficient. I know we heard this a couple times on TV that you could claim them on your income tax if you bought like upgraded refrigerators, things like that. It never worked for us. Every time we tried to claim something that was upgraded, they would look at like we're crazy, but I know I heard it in the commercials when they would have them. Well, me and my husband have been putting things to the test. So when our central air went out, we have 3 backup air conditioners that we use in the windows. We always have a plan B, which I think is actually healthy for people if they would do that, because I know in the United States, when something happens, we all tend to all want to do the new thing. Like, for instance, when the internet come out and everybody relies on the internet and you don't see like paper receipts, which I always think they should have backups. It's just my personal opinion for like business receipts for lunches and things, because I've seen it happen before at our local Subway. where their computer went down, the printer, and they couldn't get it to work, and then they couldn't give out receipts. So I'm like, why don't you have guest checks? Like, I'm always a plan B type person. I think it's just the Girl Scout in me. I don't know, but I've just always been plan B. So me and my husband's Central Air went out last year. To make a long story short, it was not more energy efficient to have Central Air than air conditioners. When it went out, we put the 3 air conditioners in the room. We put one in the kitchen, one in our bedroom, and we have one in our living room. And I swear to you guys, if I could get a hold of one of our bills to prove it, we saved $100 by not having Central Air. Sometimes I wonder how gimmicky these people are, you know? And like, I was watching a Little House on the Prairie repeat, and it was really interesting how Mrs. Olson, because I know business people do their thing too, but how they say, and I've seen this actually done when we've shopped at like JCPenney's and things, and my daughter watches prices closely for Black Friday and stuff, and she'll tell you what's really a deal and what isn't, especially on kids' toys, because Mrs. Olson said, tell everybody, whatever her husband's name was, that we're going to have 20% off everything and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we can't afford that. And she says, well, we'll raise the prices up and then drop it 20%. And I have seen stores do that. And then the next sale, she had 40%. They actually made 50-cent profit. Of course, back then 50 cents was a lot of money, but they made 50 cents more. They were making more money by having the sales because they were jacking the prices up and then putting it on sale. I've seen that happen so many times. But I like watching this kind of stuff. I find it very interesting. And it isn't, I don't feel that's efficient either, having a dishwasher over washing your own dishes. I liked having a dishwasher, and I think we kind of did everything backwards because, if you start out and you have kids when you're young and you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck, it's hard to afford a dishwasher when your kids are younger. That was kind of a luxury my parents got when they got older. We do everything backwards in America for some reason. Where I personally think a person should have a dishwasher when their kids are little, so that you don't spend the whole day standing at the dishpan like I did and not play with your kids. I think it's so much funner having a Barbie fashion show than doing dishes all day. Me and my daughter talk about this stuff. So she did. She told me it has made a big difference in her life since her and her husband get a dishwasher. They've got 4 kids. And she says, Mom, it's just so nice to be able to rinse and stack and to just run it once it's full. And I don't blame her. She says, because I have more time to play outside with my kids. But I understand that, a dishwasher might be more money. I don't know. I never compared the water bill, but it could possibly be more money than washing with your hands because you're getting all that water ran to clean the dishes, and then you have the rinse cycles and all this stuff. Or when you're doing it by hand, you're just turning it off and on. I've never done a comparison price on that yet. But I will say Central Air lies. It is not more cost efficient. My husband about died when our bill dropped $100. He was like, hallelujah, because he couldn't believe that it dropped that much with our Central Air break-in. So it's interesting, Sometimes I wonder what all is being told us is really a gimmick just to get us to buy it. I think about stuff like that all the time. But anyways, so getting back to the page, what I like to do is count so many. So I'll do one, and I do count the leaf page. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I pull out so many. Now, when I go to do this, I start out I won't do the complete 5 at first. I will do like 3 to get started, only because if there's a picture in the book that I would rather leave there because it's pretty or something, and I don't want to rip that page out, I don't want to include that page. So that's why I start out with a little bit first. So I'm not like tied to ripping out 5 in a row. But you definitely want to do them in a row when you're doing them. So I could always come back, say the page is in the back. I can always go back and do the first page instead of the last, if that makes any sense. But you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll count 5, and then I'm going to rip out 3. And if anybody's interested in doing this, you can grab an old book that doesn't matter to you and just do it. And I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you might want to use a piece of paper or a paper clip or something, which I'll probably do pieces of paper. So hold on. I'm going to tear pieces of paper and stick where I tore so I don't lose the page. So I tore here, so I'm going to mark it. 2, 3, 5, and then rip out 3. See how pretty that page is? But I'm not going to leave it in this one. And then mark this page. 3, 4, 5, and then rip out 3 more. But I do try to look at the front and back, make sure there's nothing on the pages I might want to keep. And then we'll mark this page. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then tear out 3. Altered books are a lot of fun. Sometimes I look for poems in the stories too, in case they have one, because my cat book, there was a poem, so I left it in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and rip out 3 more. It seems so tedious at first, but once you get this part done, it's funner. This is just part of the work. One, 2, 3, 5. Ooh, kissy face. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 4, 5. Ripping out the chunks doesn't matter at this point. You get another index card. I have a bunch of index cards beside me. I'll use these up. One, 2, 3, 4. Oops, 5. Where in the heck is my fingers get so dry? Here it is. I was looking for my sort quick. I use this a lot when I'm going through books in my bookstore. Okay. One, 2, 3. Tear another piece. Yes, it's old age. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Been having a lot of issues with my right leg here lately. I might have to go to the doctor's pretty soon. I think it's my small vessel disease and my osteoarthritis. I feel like I'm turning to a stiff person, like the Tin Man. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then rip out 3 more. But you know me, I don't edit, so you will get to see how this is done from beginning to end. 4, 5, and then 3. Oops, got to mark it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3. I got to decide on this one what color papers I want to put in it. I'm going to have to dye some pages to continue with this book because I think I'm almost out of my coffee dyed. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5. We can still talk. I can try to tear and chat. Sometimes these pictures can be made into something else later too, like envelopes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. I hope this doesn't sound too loud. One, 2. For all my prayer warriors that's out there, please say a prayer for Diva and for Mel. Both need some prayers. Anybody else out there that needs prayers, you can always let us know. Count 5, yeah. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I forgot to save the last piece that I just tore. Hold on. Yeah, I did. Okay. 1, come on. 4, 5. One, 2, 4, 5. Get some sort quick on this finger. 2, 3. This is going to be fun doing this one. So much funner when you know the person. You know the stuff they like. One, 2. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Mark this place. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. He did it again. I did it again. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. That's all you basically do. Keep counting. Tear down pages. Use them later. 1, 2, 3. Yay, Mel! I was just saying we're going to put a prayer out for him. How are you holding up, Missy? He keeping you on your toes? 2, 3, 4, 5. I bet. It's emotional. Very emotional. We shall keep saying prayers for your hubby, Mel. I told hubby last night, and I said, you better get your physical done. And he just looks at me. You know how men are. You're welcome. Okay, now that we're at the end, see how many pages I have left here. Okay, I can take out 3 more. I just don't want to take out the fly leaf. I want to leave that in. So there we go. So now we are through the book. And see how it's starting to bow in? That's what we're trying to do, is make room in the book, because we're going to rebuild it into a journal. So what I do with these pages is I set them aside and they will come up for later use as long as they're not too weak. If the pages are strong enough, which I don't know if I would use this as a signature pages or not. I don't know. They're not brittle, but they're not real strong. So these would be great for maybe collaging. And this is how much we tore out already. So they'll be used for something else at another time. I have a whole box beside me of pages taken out of books that I can reuse as envelopes, or I showed in my one book where, or my one video where I took this and I turned the pages into where you could glue this and turn them into tuck pockets. There's multiple things you can do with the leftover pages. You just got to make sure when you read them, there's like no smut. Or you would want to cover those up. So now I will go back through and I will only rip where the tears are. So you study the front and back, and then like 2 more pages can come out for me. So I look at this and I say, do I want to save this page and this page over the last 2? No, I do not. So I'm going to rip this page out and this page out. It's going to be my 2 more here. And then, because I don't want those pictures in it. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Do I want to go after or before? So instead of ripping 2 pages out here, I think I'm just going to do 1 for now. And I'll just rip out the one before, because I don't really see any. As long as it's just words, I'm good. This one here is pretty much the same. We'll just rip out 1 before and 1 after. It doesn't matter how you do this, just as long as you take out the pages where the rips are. Because those are going to be my future pockets. Hey, Paula, how are you doing tonight? So it'll be 1, 4. That Melanie will spoil you, I'm telling you. She's got some goodies. I'm just ripping out 1 or 2 pages, but I'm doing it along the rip because I want to go back and count, make sure I didn't miscount. And I really do not want this picture in. And since it's next to a rip, I want to take this out too. Do. Since I already ripped that page a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. Because that happens too when you're ripping. I have to mark this page too. When I do these books, I like between like 50 to 100 pages. I don't like too many. So that's why I will go back and count after I've ripped so many more out to see if I need to rip out any more. I'm going to rip 2 out here though. That's why I said to keep her in your prayers. Her hubby. I know, Mel, those stubborn men. I know a person whose husband had a big growth on his head and he just kept covering it with his hat. Kills me how men can be. And he kept thinking it was cancer and he didn't want to know. So he kept putting it off. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense because if it's cancer and they catch it early enough, I said, he's crazy waiting. And I forget what happened. And he ended up having to go in anyways. And all it was just something, it was a cyst that just needed taken out. It was nothing major, but it could have been. Those men, I tell you, they're rotten. Yep, it is. My doctor makes me carry Bayer aspirin and beta blockers, Paula. I'm a high risk for a stroke, too. So I have to watch it. wish it would help my hubby be nicer. I tease him all the time. I tell him he's going to cause me a stroke. Let's see. This one, I'm going to take out these 2 pages. Don't want this picture in it. I try to clear out all the pictures as best I can out of it that I don't want. In it. Stuff that I know she won't care if it's in here or not. Okay, there's 2 more out. Oh, this has got like some kind of ink on it. So we'll get these out of here. Clear out these 2. The reason why you get to keep them where the tears are for people that's ever done altered books is you're going to cover that anyways, because you're going to turn that into pockets. Let me count how many pages in after I have these torn out. I'm trying to take mine as pretty close to 50 as I can get it. Let's do the one and one after. What, Mel? Definitely take those out. Aww. Hopefully he'll do good, Mel. Hopefully. We'll just keep praying for him. Tell him he better listen to the doctor. Or I'm going to make a trip down there and sit on him, Mel. You tell him I said that too. He won't like it. Tell him my butt's big. I'll squish him. That's what I tell my hubby every time he gets slippy. And he's like, no, stay over on your side of the room. So I'll squish you like a bug. You should see my granddaughter. She was being lippy the other day. I told her she wasn't good. I kissed her whole face. She took off running. Let's see. It's so funny because when they fight my daughter, my granddaughters are hysterical. They fight my daughter all the time on stuff. I said, if you don't be good, I'm taking mommy home with me. Well, they don't like that. I said, she's coming to my house. And then Kylie got mad at my daughter the other day when we were crafting because we sat outside after. And she says, wait till daddy gets home. I'm telling daddy. I told my oldest daughter, who does that remind you of? My youngest daughter used to do that to me all the time. I'm telling daddy on you. I said, you just go tell daddy. He's not the boss all day. Mommy is. So we took out this many pages. These pages were nice too because they had like a gold shimmer on the edge. Okay, so now we got it flattened down to here. And I'm going to take the book off screen for a minute just so I can count some of these pages. I want to see how far I'm down to 50. Still got too many left because I didn't tear out all 5. So I'm going to go back through it again. And take out one more. The only thing my husband put me through, Paula, has been 9 lives. Since we've been married, he has broken his foot and steel-toed high-top boots, with the doctor shook his head on, trying to figure it out. And he goes to work with his boot on, and he felt it getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Here he broke his foot and didn't even realize he had broken it. And he still tried to go back to work with his boot cut out open in the back. This is how my husband is. He's like a rock. stubborn. And then little while later, there was a brush pile sitting in the back of our house, and it was really hot and humid. And he took a gasoline can that was sitting in the sun. We're not exactly sure. We never did find out the cause of this. But he took the gasoline and he made a trail back to himself, and he didn't even have a chance to light it. And there was a great big explosion, and my husband was in ICU. He had third-degree burns all over his face, down his arms. He lost his eyebrows. It was awful. That's probably the worst experience I've had with him since we've been married. We don't know if the gas can exploded or if it was glass in the brush pile. There were so many factors. But my husband used to be a fireman, so he knew to turn his face away. The only reason why he wasn't life flighted was because he didn't inhale it. That's what actually saved him from being life flighted that day. My neighbor's husband was fire chief at the time, and he wasn't home. And my husband literally walked to the house. He said it didn't hit him, how bad it really was. Till he came in the house, he looked in the mirror and he seen his flesh hanging off his face. And he thought, oh, shit. So he walked down to my neighbor's house and he kept talking to himself on the way. And she kept repeatedly asking him the same question. She says, next time, she teases him. She says, next time I'm putting out the lunch, she said, you scared the hell out of me when you came down there. She kept asking him his address and his phone number over and over again until the ambulance got there. I wasn't even home. I was actually out looking at a desk for my daughter to do her homework on out of the paper we called the green tab in the local area at the time. I was with my mom and dad. And this just goes to show how rude people have always been to me. It doesn't matter if it's online or offline. I get in trouble anyways. The rumors that went around after that happened was somebody started a rumor that I was in the house playing cards with friends from college and refused to take my husband to the emergency room. Hey, Chris. Another person started a rumor that I wouldn't let him be life flighted to Pittsburgh because I wouldn't drive to the city. That's the shit that went around about me while my husband's laying in ICU. And I just have to laugh. I get shit whether I'm online or offline. It makes no difference. That's why I'm just used to it. I figure if people talk about me, they're just leaving everybody else alone. And I'm like a doctor is really going to care if you want to drive to a city. If he needed to be life flighted, they would have done it anyways. And I sure in the heck wasn't playing cards with my college friends because the only two friends I made in college have never been to my house. So that's funny. But anyways, so his recovery was unreal. They kept him in a place that usually doesn't do burn victims, but it was awesome because it's a hospital. I had both of my kids and stuff in, and he was in ICU, and they literally gave him saltwater whirlpool baths to keep infection out. And I don't mean to get grotesque, but let me tell you, nothing prepares you on TV for what you see in real life. My cousin Bobby was working the emergency room. His wife was a nurse. My cousin was actually the one that had to peel my husband like a freaking banana, and I stood there and watched it all. And I kept asking him questions. I'm the type of person in an emergency situation, just keep me talking. That's all you got to do. I don't care what you keep me talking about, just keep me talking. It could be about the weather. It could be about anything. And my mom, I had to drive to this hospital, which is like over an hour away from my house, or approximately within an hour, depending on traffic. And my mom rode with me, and she kept me talking the whole time. Thank God my mother was with me. And I did not have my break until after I saw. And when I walked in the emergency room, I heard him screaming my name out in the hallway. And I walked back there and I held him the whole time, and he just shivered while they were taking care of him. And I was asking my cousin Bobby, what's the yellow gook that's running out of his skin? This is me in an emergency. What's that yellow liquid coming? He says, that's the liquid that protects your skin when you have a boo-boo. He was talking to me the whole time he was taking forceps and peeling my husband. And it was when his wife came to me and said, I have to take you in to have him registered. That's when I broke. As soon as I walked in the hallway, I stayed strong for him. And then I broke leaving out, going out. It was awful. It was awful. Hey, Lisa, welcome in. And I didn't know what was going to happen. We had no clue. And he was in ICU for a good 3 weeks. And he was a mess. They had him on morphine. And my mom and sister had walked in and said, he was talking to us in his sleep. Like she said it was funny. 1 minute, me and your sister come in the room and he's blowing you kisses in the room. She said, the next time we come in, he's yelling at the kids to behave themselves and they weren't even there. Like morphine makes you trippy, dude. He said to him, they gave him Demerol, which is what they give pregnant moms in delivery if you want it. And he said, it took my head, like the edge off, like my head was somewhere else, but I could still feel everything. And he told me, he says, I know I was cussing those nurses. He says, I'm so sorry for my language. I said, Mike, you said not a word. I was outside the whole time you had that saltwater whirlpool bath. You said absolutely nothing. So my husband's accident prone, if you haven't noticed. And his grandmother told me, you think your husband's bad? He definitely gets it from his father, because he was running through their farmyard with the hatchet in his hand and almost cut his ear completely off. So it's a Minda quality, just to let you know. And then you guys know he hurt his hand since we met. He had his fingers smashed and some bones broken. My husband, I don't have time to get sick. That's what I told him. And one time I had went to my doctor's because I try to get my blood levels and stuff checked because my mom has diabetes and it runs in her family. I had not been to the doctor's in 13 years on my records because I was so busy taking care of him and the kids. I never had time to get sick. My doctor was even shocked because you haven't been here for 13 years. And when I went in, it was bad. Like I had to have a complete hysterectomy because I had cysts on my ovaries real bad. And then right after that, I had my gallbladder removed. So when I go to the doctor's, it's usually surgery. It's either that or a sinus infection, and they got to give me a Z-Pack. But yeah, he put me through it since we've been married. He's totally accident prone. Dude, were you all here when I told you the story? Some of you knew that my husband had gotten hurt in the crafty community. It was so great. They helped us raise money until his comp kicked in because it took 3 weeks being that he was out of state instead of 2. It took a while for us to get it. But I thank the crafty community so much for pitching in because they helped us so much when we went through that. But there was a man, I don't even know if Paula knows this, if she heard this or not. There was another man, Paula, that worked on the same job my husband did, but instead of doing the actual job, he was packing it. He literally lost the same 2 fingers that my husband had injured. They were putting it in a crate, and it's going to Spain, what they're making. My husband works as a welder for a nuclear power plant, and it's they make the canisters that hold nuclear waste. That's what he welds. Well, when they did it, they pack it and they put it on a crane. Well, the guy wasn't paying attention and he stuck his hand down in the box and it just chopped his fingers right off. I mean, this thing is heavy, like it's hundreds of pounds. And it did. Yep. It cut the same exact 2 fingers that my husband got smashed off. My husband says it's cursed. I'm beginning to think so. He told his boss, he said, I think you need to warn Spain about this particular product. But it was awful because this guy wasn't even a worker in their company. He was a contracted into the company. And yeah, so I have no clue because I asked him if he wanted to raise money, to help somebody else out. But he said he was contracted, so they don't know where this guy came from to even do something like that. I thought, oh my gosh, it's horrible. But he's still going to a comp doctor. My husband is. His pinky grew in a little crooked. And he holds his welding stick with the first few fingers, you know, his first couple fingers and his thumb. But he said the ring finger's doing a lot better, but the pinky finger, it didn't come back normal. Like it's not, it's just crooked. So when he, you know, he's been having physical therapy the whole year. I'm not sure how, I know it's up to a year from the time he got hurt. He does exercises and stuff. Like he's got little, stuff he plays with here, like he's got this little ball he's got to squeeze, and they have him doing an ice pack on and off like a certain period of time. He's been following it to the letter. Like he does everything his physical therapist tells him. He goes in every Monday to see the physical therapist, and then they'll tell him eventually like if they're going to go back in or not to do more. But he is so lucky that he's doing good. You know what? I don't know, Mel, because he works in Pennsylvania and they have their own rules. They're like a Commonwealth state. I know like up there, the laws are so different than West Virginia. It's like you can't even sue your employer up there. They have certain laws that, I don't know, every state's different, but they have some wacky laws up there. Like if you get hurt at your mill, you can't even sue your company. It's weird. But my hubby was born in PA. He wasn't born in West Virginia. I was born in West Virginia. His parents moved here. I forget, he was young when his parents moved here, but we met in high school. You know, sometimes it makes you wonder who you would end up really marrying if things didn't happen. Like I sit and think, I can't imagine being married to somebody else, but it's like, who would I have married if he wouldn't have moved here? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't like the guys my age. Most of the guys my age in my class were dweebs. So gosh knows who I would have picked. I actually liked hanging out with older than my age and younger. I don't know. I just felt like the older men were mature minded. My hubby's only a year older than me though. And he's cursed. His birthday's 2666. He's got 666 in his birthday. I told him it's no wonder you have bad luck. Yeah, he's put me through a lot, getting hurt and stuff happening, and he's something for sure. Just one of them people. So I tell him all the time, he's like that cartoon that has a black rain cloud over your head and you can't get out from under it. I feel like we all get like that sometimes. I don't know why. But I can't believe that other guy. I feel sorry for him too, because it was not fun what we went through. 5, 6, 8. Hold on, I'm counting. 15, 16. His dad has diabetes, and I want him to have a physical, but he keeps fighting me. So I know how hard it is to get men to go to the doctors. One. Yeah. I think I'm going to leave 80 in this book. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to take about 22 pages out. I'm going to leave that one in. Hey, Bay, how are you? I'm doing an altered book as a offline request. Let's see here. I have a friend who one of my mother's friends liked the book I made for her, so I'm gonna do one for her. So I'm pretty excited. Just gotta figure out where I'm gonna pull out the pages. I think I'm gonna take this one off too. Yeah, I like doing altered journals. They're fun. Alrighty. Mel, you take care of yourself too and try to get some rest. Because I know it's hard when you go through something like this. It wears you out emotionally too. It's very draining. We will keep you in our prayers, Mel. So, did you see the good news? Did you see? On October 22nd of last year, I sent Stamperia a message through Facebook under my bookstore name. And I said, could you please make a paper line with horses? And I do have the message saved to prove it. Because I'm just lazy about deleting messages. It's not that I keep them for a purpose. I have so many messages on there. It's ridiculous. I just don't take the time to just click it and hit delete. So, they came out today with a paper line that's going to be released in June. And it's horses, and they have the video on Stamperia if you Google it. I'm so excited. They do listen to their customers because they brought up the one paper line they did. It's kind of whimsical. And I said, no, I don't want a person on it. I said, I would like to see some free, like a wild horse line with no bridles and stuff. Well, they did put bridles and halters into it because they show like the horses free and then kind of how they grew, you know, into people owning them and stuff. So it is kind of nice how they did it even with bridles and saddles. Because on one of the paper lines, it also has the horseshoes. And oh, I love collecting horseshoes and items too. So my horse that I used to have, I kept one of his horseshoes. I still have it. It's just put away. And I used to hang it above our door in the house that we used to live in. I just didn't put it up in here for good luck. But I was like, oh my goodness. So there you go, Sandy. I bragged about it. She goes, first hour you're live, you're going to be on about the horses. You go, yes, yes, yes. Did you? Oh, they said on here that they're not going to release it till June. I don't know how that person got a hold of it. But there is a different one that's got horses in it that's blue. But this one here is not supposed to be released till June unless you were talking about the other line. But I won't show the video, but I will show, because I don't know if you're allowed to do that on another channel or not. I don't know. You could probably get in trouble for it, I'm sure. YouTube's got so many rules. But I'll just show you I want the whole collection. They're going to have papers and they're going to have stencils and everything with this particular line. Here, I'll hold it up. I'll show just a piece of it. You got to see this. I love the video. This video is so pretty how they did it. Look at this. Tell me this is not a gorgeous paper line. But anyways, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to put the link in the room and you guys can check it out because I don't want to get in trouble or copyrighted strike for it. Because YouTube is weird like that. Here. There's the link. It's so beautiful. I want 2 of everything. Maybe even 3 of this particular line. It's so awesome. But yes, on Facebook, I had sent a message and it said, that I can show you. That's not copyrighted because it's my message. Let me find it here. See? I left them a message and I put, okay, they showed me the Alice packed paper. This is what I was talking about. I said, do you or will you ever, this was October 19th, and then I talked to him again on the 22nd because they answered. I said, do you or have you or will you ever create a horse line in maybe like a Christmas horse line? They said, hi, Minda's Bookstore and More. Thank you for contacting us. We'll answer you soon. That's like an automatic response. They said, hello. We don't have a horse line yet, but we have a scrapbook paper and race paper of a horse on our new winter. That's the Winter Tales collection. So then they sent me a link to it. And then I said, thanks so much for your reply. But I mean free horses with no bridles or halters, like a wild horse line, like black stallion, paint horses, etc. They seem to be hard to find. Maybe a future suggestion question. I love your paper line so much. Your line was the very first I've ever purchased. And I still have that first purchase. This was the very first scrapbooking paper I have ever bought with Stamperia. So I think I have pretty good taste for my first paper pad, and I still have it. It's the laces one. I never used it. I pet it still. And I said, and they said, "Thank you for contacting us. We'll answer as soon as possible." That's automated. And I said, they said, "Sorry, unfortunately, we do not have this kind of collection yet." And they put a sad face and it says, "But we will definitely take notes of your suggestion. Thank you very much." And I said, "Thanks so much." And when the horses came out, I had to send him a message. I said, "Thank you so much for the horse collection. I just seen the video on YouTube." So these companies do listen. Contrary to what people think, they do hear you. And when I was started in makeup on here, I know they listen, because if you're ever doing a makeup look and you post the ad symbol to the company, they will find you. And I remember when I was doing reviews on the Wet n Wild collection of oh, come on, team, spit it out. The gel. It's the gel nail polishes. I did like all the colors I had, and I kept put at and Wet n Wild, and Wet n Wild answered me. They came back, "Hey, Wild One, we love seeing the pictures you're posting of our gel collection for nail polishes. These people watch you, whether you believe it or not, they do." And then Pinch Me is a free company you can join on Facebook, and you get samples for things. It takes a little while because you do have to participate in their lives on Facebook when they have them, and they will send you free stuff. I have all kinds of free samples. I used to do reviews on their stuff all the time. So when they did the bag bomb, and I already told you the story about my husband being burned, that's what he used when he came out of the hospital. We didn't have the type of insurance where nurses could come and visit your home. So they had like a nurse in for so long of a period, and then it quit. It was covered, and then I had to do it. Let me tell you, it was not fun. I do care for people, but it's different when it's a burn victim, let me tell you. And I had to change his bandages. He had gauze wrapped around his arms, and you have to be very gentle. You can't rip it off like a Band-Aid. You have to do it very slowly, and I had to bag bomb his arms. So one day on Pinch Me Live on Facebook, they had they do like different products, and people will send in like, I don't know how to explain it, like almost like baskets full of stuff. Like some of it can be food, some of it can be anything. Well, one day they had bag bomb on there, and so I made the comment to them through my Instagram, and I told Pinch Me, and I said, "Listen," I said at Pinch Me, I said, "Bag bomb is an awesome product." I said, because my husband swears by this stuff. It's a product that they use on cows when you're milking cows so much, or if you have a puppy or any animal that's had babies. We had our dog, and like the little claws off the little puppies from sucking on her when they were feeding caused a little redness around her nipples and stuff. So we took bag bomb and put it on her because it's recommended highly for cows and stuff for the same reason. My husband swears by this stuff. He loves it. We never have not have a can in our house. That's how much he loves this stuff. And it's really great for chapped skin. Like if you have chapped lips, it's like a medicated Vaseline for people that don't know what bag balm is. So when I answered Pinch Me on it, and I told him about him being burned and stuff, I didn't know the bag bomb company was watching me. And the next thing I know, Pinch Me announces me of a winner of the bag bomb prize. I didn't even know was there. And they sent me a great big, hold on, let me find it on my Instagram. A great big collection of products from Bag Bomb. Shocked me to death. My husband was in heaven. He was like, "Yay!" I kept one little thing of it and then gave him the rest of it. But I think Instagram personally, I was noticed for more things on there than anywhere for posting stuff. It just blew me away that the company would send something like that. And I took a picture of it. Let me find it. It's on here somewhere. But it was really nice what they sent because at the time I knew that they had cans of it, but I didn't know they also made lip products. Can make a liar out of me. Yep, here it is. This is what they sent. This was the contest they had. I couldn't believe it that they were literally watching on Instagram. And this is what I won. That's what the containers look like. And it's called Bag Balm. I kept that little one down on her finger and I gave the rest to hubby. But I was like, yeah. But it is funny the companies that watch you on there, it's wild. And another company I met, there was a lady named Amanda, and she was trying to launch an eyeshadow company. And they had like models and different things on there and stuff. And then she had a tragedy happen in her family and she had to close for a little bit. And then she tried to do a relaunch. This girl tried so hard to get her business off the ground. And I kept telling her not to give up. I said, keep going. And she says it's so hard when you got kids at home and you're trying to be a mom at the same time. I know what that's like. You know, being a single mom and trying to start a business is hard. And so she relaunched again and they were doing really well. I had bought some of their makeup because I used to be a makeup channel. God knows why. I'm not much of a makeup person, but it was fun to do reviews. And so she surprised me. Let me find the post. I think I passed it. She came out and did her second launch, and then she got pregnant and had a baby. Well, she was trying, and she turned around and she made her daughter's name's Abby. Oh my gosh, Addie. Is it Addie? She made an eyeshadow for her daughter, and then she turned around and made an eyeshadow for me with Tammy as a thank you. And she put underneath of it, she says, swatch of Tammy, a natural glitter mix of lavender, silvers, and blues. Is named after one of my biggest supporters and now a great friend, Tammy Minda. Tammy has been a big part of why we decided to relaunch and has been such a sweetheart friend. We love you. So look, I got an eyeshadow named after me. Yay! But then she had to end up closing because of something else happening and trying to take care of the baby. So I don't know when her relaunch is going to start again. But she's a sweetheart. Alrighty, Paula, you have a good one. But these were fun. It's fun getting to know people through companies, you know. The only thing I don't like about social media, though, is when, you know, you start buying off a makeup company that people don't like, and then they bash you for it. And it's like, what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? You don't know the company was drama back in the day when we used to go in the store and we used to buy makeup. We didn't really pay attention to what the person was like that sold the stuff. We just bought stuff because we liked it. Now, since social media happened, lots of drama in the makeup community. Which I'm also finding is there's lots of drama in the freaking crafting community too. I guess it's everywhere. I try to stay out of the middle of it. I just come on here to enjoy myself. I'm not here to be monetized. I'm not here to compete. I'm just here to be me. That way nobody can say I'm after their paycheck. But I get in trouble no matter what, so I'm used to it. Okay. So I don't know if I want to take out the whole 20-something pages because I kind of like the way this feels the way it is. It's nice and it's flatter, and the book is into the shape that I like it with all those gaps. I took out, instead of 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I took out 9 more pages. So this could work. I believe it. I believe it, Sandy. So now what I do is I go back through the pages and I just try to kind of clean up a little bit where I tore pages out. If there's any like chunks, it doesn't matter if you can see the pages ripped out of it or not. I just kind of remove the chunks because what I will do is I'll turn these into envelopes or pocket places, so it doesn't matter. So I can take out all my little pieces of paper. You can leave them in. You can take them out if you want as markers. It doesn't matter. Of where I ripped the pages out. I'll mark them again later anyway with paper clips. So I just kind of clean it up. This is what you call an altered journal, what it will be called when it's done. You can do anything you want in these. You can cover the pages. I mean, some people could even turn them into glue books if they wanted to. You can cover the pages with pictures. You can cover it with dyed papers. You can cover it with scrapbooking paper. Anything that you want to decorate. My personal preference on these is I like to use decorative pictures. It could be out of magazines. It can be out of ads that you get in your mail. Or it could be just dyed paper because I do like having writing spots. You can also turn these into a trip book, like a travel book. You can theme these any way you want to. And just to give you an example, the last book I just finished, this is an altar book that came into my store. It had a crack in the front. And I didn't know what to do with it, so I turned it into a travel one. So what I did is I put my coffee dyed paper in them. And I left this paper, it was already in the book because I thought it was pretty. And then I added this. Any types of map pages that I found in National Geographics. This here is done with my green dyed paper. Very true, May, very true. It's sad. And then I took some yellow cardstock and put tabs on it. And what I mean by these pages being turned into tucks, where I rip the pages out, this is what I mean. You can glue the page on the top and the bottom and make it a side tuck. You can glue it down this way and across this way and turn it into a down tuck. Or you can take a page and fold it halfway down and turn it into like a kind of like a side tuck. And this is all done with my coffee dyed and regular paper, and I just mixed it all up. So you have places to journal and you have places to put pictures. But see, this is why I like the bigger books, because sometimes when you glue these pages, they crinkle like this, because as you get to the center of a book, we all know it gets like to be a more of a pump, like a hump. And when it gets more of a hump and you glue, you get a great big crack in it when you go to bend the pages. And sometimes it happens, but to me, I call it character. So this is what the last one turned out to look like. And then here's another tuck. This one here, I didn't hide all the pages where I tore. I only made 2 tucks in this book instead of a bunch. But these types of books are fun because you can hide things down in those pockets, like papers or just something, and then put it on your shelf. Takes care of some clutter. Yep, I hear ya. I hear ya. Or it's controlling me. Like, one of the things I've noticed, I'm not going to say names. People can check it out or just listen. But I notice in people's descriptions when they sell, you can learn a lot about who they're making fun of too. Like, for instance, I'll give you a good example. Like one seller puts, I sell and there's no overhead fee and blah, 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 blah in that description. Well, the overhead fee that they're griping about are people that use PayPal. Well, it's like this. If we want to keep our stuff cheap and say, you know, there's another seller did a good job at explaining that she has to charge that overhead fee of $1 something. God forbid that'll break you on here. Because if she sells a pack of napkins for $1 and say that's all a person orders, well, then if she didn't charge that $1 something for the invoice fee, she wouldn't make anything. She'd be losing money. So in order for us to keep our prices cheaper, sometimes there's nothing wrong with charging that $1 something. Hey there, craft order. But it just kills me that another person that's making fun of people that do that, they don't tell people PayPal is also a source of protection. I personally like using PayPal because there was a company I ordered off of not too long ago, and PayPal instantly sent me a message asking me if I ever got the product, because they also look out for consumers if a company delivers or not. And you can dispute it through PayPal if a company doesn't pay or give you something that they're supposed to give you. That's one of the things I love about PayPal. So to me, it's worth that extra $1 to pay that overhead fee. Where the other person who was making fun of people who don't use PayPal, oh no, you got to use this particular program because it encrypts more and blah, 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 blah is their excuse. But you know what? You can't dispute through that particular payment. There's no protection for the consumer with the thing that person uses. Yes, and it's controlling. And to me, this is how I feel as a seller and a consumer. Shut your damn mouths. Mind your own business. Do your own shit on your own channel and just shut up. That's my philosophy. If you're going to do your thing, quit making fun of other people for the way they do it. If you don't like the way they sell, then just don't shop from them. That's how I feel about the whole damn thing. I get tired of hearing it. You know, it's like, I'm not here to, I'm here to worry about my own customers. I'm not here to worry about other sellers putting me down for the way I do shit. Because selling in itself is hard. When you are a seller, it is rough. When you're not the type of person using, the priority boxes for everything. I don't use the priority boxes. I literally have my own scales. I weigh, I measure, I upload to my Etsy. And that's how I do my sales when I'm done. It's a special order for so-and-so because it's easier for me to do it that way than constantly going to the post office trying to make it cheaper or trying to do something. I'm not going to make 50 trips down there. I'm not doing it just so that people, are complaining about shipping. If you can't handle the shipping through Etsy, which by the way, they get a discount. You pay more going through. I tested this and I did talk to the headmaster of my post office. And I said, how come I weighed and measure thing on Etsy and I come down here, you guys were charging me $2 more? And she says, because Etsy gets a cut. They actually get a deal because they use the post office. So people complain about Etsy can kiss my butt. I'm not going to look up pirate shipping and all this other crap. I'm doing it the way Etsy says to do it. And tough. If you don't like the shipping, then leave. That's my philosophy. Because people who act like they're giving you deals, they're not. Some of these people who are acting like they're giving you deals, they're actually charging more for their products than others. So they're going to make their money somehow. So that's what I said. It's a jealousy and it's people bickering over stupid things. And it's like when I go to a seller's place, I respect how they sell. If I don't like how they sell, I will not shop from them. That's simple. There's nothing to complain about. It's just like my husband said, you go into Walmart, you don't like the prices, you don't pay it. You find it on sale somewhere else. That's what shopping's all about. But yeah, it gets old. It does. It gets old. I don't like when sellers put each other down. I don't like it at all. I have ways of doing things, and I don't put somebody else down for ways they do things. I'll just tell people, if somebody tries to make me do something I don't want as a buyer, as a consumer, I try to save money. I'm a thrifty shopper as much as possible. And sometimes, even if one of my favorite people's on here selling, and maybe they have it a little bit higher than others, I'll still buy it because I like the person I'm buying from. Sometimes you just want to support people you like, And I'm not afraid to Google. I seen a book one time that somebody sold for $35 that I paid $3 for, including shipping. It was free shipping, and I paid $3 for the same book that somebody else paid $35 for, because I'm always over here Googling. I compare prices. I'm a comparison shopper. But if that person wanted to pay $35 because they like that person, hey, it's their pocket, not mine. That's how I look at it. They want to pay that money, more power to them. Sandy. I trust PayPal too, except once PayPal screwed me over and we had a little dispute over it because I was new to PayPal and I sent $60 to someone that had a sale. I'll share something that personally happened to me through PayPal that was not nice. When you send through friends and family purchase, you have to be very careful to make sure you do not screw up, because according to PayPal, the way they feel, because it's friends and family, you should trust that person. Well, how many people can also distrust people that's their friends and family? Because I've had family I could distrust. But anyways, so what happened to me was someone had a sale on here and they had you send to friends and family instead of a business. I would rather do the business for the simple fact of PayPal will protect you if it's a business. When she sent her email, there was a typo and there was a space. Well, I copied and pasted it, May. And when it went in, the money went to someone in Australia and they would not give it back. So if you're doing that, do not make mistakes with that person's address. It was awful. I had to go to the bank. No, it was $60 I lost. I had to go to the bank and tell them what happened. So PayPal, I was on the phone with them multiple times over this. It was $60 I lost. So I went and I told them, it doesn't matter if it's friends and family, though, it still went to the wrong address. So they were saying, well, maybe you can contact that. What threw me off was when I contacted the address that I sent it to, I got a mailer demon. And I'm like, how is that possible if it's an address? I couldn't figure it out. So my bank and PayPal went at it because of what happened. Well, what happened was the person used to have a Yahoo email, and they must have, you know how sometimes if you don't use it for a certain period in Yahoo, all the chat rooms left and everything. So what happened was that particular email was shut down and the person couldn't get back in it. I don't know if it was a password they couldn't remember or what was, but that happens. So what they did was they had that address forward to another email, because that's what I kept telling PayPal. How is it a mailer demon if it's a still working one? And they said because they have it set to go to a different one. So I go, okay, so you know the person on your end that got my money. Why can't you contact them and at least ask them to return it? Well, apparently the Australian didn't want to. So they got my money and I never got it back. It was gone. And the seller that was sold to me felt so bad for it because she caught it in her email. A space that she ended up giving me a discount and they gave me some free stuff later. But I felt bad for her because it's not her fault. If anything, they should have a way to get your money back. That's the only thing I didn't like about PayPal. But as long as you paid through a business, you could dispute it, just not the friends and family. Over a typo, I lost $60. That's probably the most expensive typo I ever paid for. But it is what it is. I'm over it. I don't hold on to grudges too long because I still like PayPal's service for other things and I still use them, but I was not happy about that at the time. Especially when I told him, you know, that kind of money is not something cheap from people, you know. It's a lot of money to lose. Even 35 is a lot. So then they sent me something here lately. I haven't read it though. They said they were changing their policies due to what happened to me. That they were going to try to be a little better because I was not happy. And my bank, they kept blaming my bank, and my bank's like, how can they blame me when you did the purchase through them? It was like a circle. And that's what I said. I told PayPal, how can you blame my bank? They're going to release the money because it's my account. It wasn't them that the payment was processed through. It was you. And I said, you are to blame, not my bank. My bank is just hooked up through you. They're not the one that did the transaction. You did. So it was like a blame game that we had to play. It was ridiculous. That went on for a few months. So whatever you do, you make sure when you use PayPal, make sure that email's correct. Because they're not forgiving. Now, if that email would have not existed to someone, that's a different story. I had that happen too. I had a friend that he had two emails, but he had one that was set up for his PayPal and one that wasn't, and I didn't realize it. And when I sent it to him, it was okay. I was buying a painting off of male friend that I mod for his stream, and I have it in my living room, and he's in Canada. And I didn't realize that he was in Canada either, because the money is different, the amount. So what happened was, with him, the money went to his email that wasn't attached to a PayPal. So what happens in that instance is, it'll say pending. You'll get this email say it's pending, because it can't go nowhere if that person doesn't have an email set to PayPal. So what it did was it pended for a couple days, and then I got an email saying that the money was going to come back to my bank account. Like, it'll ask you what you want to do. That way it's protecting too. So when it bounced back and I saw that it was paid into my account, then I was able to get his right email to buy the painting. So that part was good. I just wished the one I sent the $60 to didn't exist, because I'd have got that money back. That would have been a good typo. I learn everything I know from trial and error. If there's a mistake that you can make with your computer, I've made it. The only thing I haven't done is crash one. So if something happens to me and a person will ask about something, I try to help them. Like, for instance, I used to sit in a computer type chat room on Yahoo, and people would come in asking, how do you get a WJView error? And because you have to realize that most of us run machines that make the same mistakes. And I said, I know the answer to that. This guy's like, how do you know? I said, because I hear it like 50 times a day in this chat room, because that's what people do in here, is they try to help people. And I said, what it is we happen to be on Windows Home Edition, and Windows 32 error is a DLL file that was duplicated. My daughter downloaded LimeWire, and she was getting music, but and LimeWire produces, it gives you another DLL. If you already have it, you don't need it again. So when it duplicated, it caused the WJView error. That's how I know what it does, because my daughter did it to my computer. And then I had to go into the Windows folder, find that particular DLL file, and delete it. And once I deleted, the error was gone. Most of the time, when you have a tech issue, it's something it's really simple. It's just a pain in the butt to try to find it. Like, I used to get, I don't know, Trojans and stuff that would pop up, and they're in your registry. You just got to figure out where the path is to go get them out. That was one of the things I first learned on firing up a computer, was how to remove stuff out of my registry. And if you talk to a computer person, they will tell you, that works on computers, oh, don't go into your registry. Well, I nib into everything they told me not to do. And then I went to my local unemployment office, because I said, I'm getting tired of a guy coming in that we knew as friends that would fix my computer, but he would do it so fast, I couldn't follow what he was doing. I want to know how to fix my own computer, because I'm not going to pay people $80 a time just to fix something that could be a check mark, because that's my persona. So they sent me to the A+ certification, and I actually have a certificate in help desk to fix my own computer. I learned how to format. I learned how to hit an eraser. I can even destroy a computer if somebody wants to get rid of evidence, but I won't tell you how to do that, because that's a secret. But I learned a lot about computers. It was like, my teacher wasn't the type to say, here, read this chapter. He was like, okay, here's the computer. I want you to fire it up with 2 different operating systems. And he handed me the Windows 98 disk and the Home Edition, and I had to load 2 different computer systems on one computer. That's the kind of stuff I learned. It was fun. But my first computer that I had was a Home Edition that was actually mine, and it never saw a shop, and it lasted for 13 years because of my learning how to maintenance my own computer. I do not pay for an antivirus. I scan it myself with different online things that you can get, because this McAfee and all this crap they have out, it's all fake. It's just stuff that anything that's on the market, what people don't understand, that's the first thing a hacker learns how to get into, because it's commercial, people. If you're going to use something to protect your computer, you do not want Norton. It's the worst. Or anything that's on the market. You want to look for stuff on Google that you don't see in computer stores. And the first thing that I do when I get my computer is I take all the junk the market puts on it off of it. I go in and delete out everything they put on to do with antiviruses. And then I upload my own stuff. And I mean, it doesn't really help you as far as like hacking is concerned, because honey, if a person wants to hack your butt, they're going to do it regardless, but they're not going to waste their time on somebody that has a home computer. They're going to go after banks and stuff where they can try to make money. Most of the time, hackers do not care about your personal computer. And when you think about it and you watch the news, this is my tech chat, by the way, and you see things like the pipeline getting hacked, and you see things like military and this bank got hacked and that got hacked. Well, don't you think those people would have top of the line? And that's what I'm saying. They have the top of the line stuff and it still gets hacked. So if they want you bad enough, they're going to get you. All right, May, you have a good one. The only time I ever seen people get mad at people, you know, that own a regular house computer, is if it was somebody cheating and they thought their mate was having an affair. That's the only time I see people wanting to get into personal computer stuff. My girlfriend's cheating on me. My boyfriend's having an affair. That's what we used to hear in the computer rooms all day long. I want to learn how to hack Hotmail. I want to learn how to hack AIM. I heard it all. I heard it all. And I said, who's cheating on who? So that's usually what it's about. People spying in other people's business. So I got this whole pile of goodness up here. You see. And this is all going to go in my little garbage over here where I recycle paper. We need to do a recycling trip here pretty soon. I think I got about another vehicle load. I have papers and cardboard and all that good stuff that I recycle. Our garbage local plant, they don't recycle, which is really sucky. So we have to separate our garbage and take it somewhere else, and then have our local pick up our regular garbage. It's not recyclable. But like for us to recycle plastic and that, we have to go like a state away and recycle it there. Which I think all garbage plants should be made to recycle. So I pulled all that off. And I'm going to keep going through the book and just kind of cleaning it up. Sometimes I don't mind talking tech, but sometimes I do, because every time you do talk tech, then you get bugged to fix stuff for people. I don't mind it when it's my own problems, but it's really hard to do it on the computer. I have been in people's computers, though, desktop remotely, and helped people out when I used to be in my chatting days. I would go in and clean up their junk out of the registry and stuff and fix up their computers for them for free, just because I did it, because I was learning how to do it in class. And it's always nice to help people out for free, especially when they can't afford it, because the prices to fix stuff is ridiculous. But since Windows 10 has been out, it's different. I miss my Home Edition and Pro computers. I still have them. They're upstairs. And they still work. Just can't update anything on them. But when I see how much these people make when they're fixing your computers remotely, it's just sad. They charged me like HP. I like their printers, but I'm not a fan of what they did. I paid for the customer service to come in remotely and fix it. And it was like $60. And after that, they wanted like, I don't know, like 30 something a month. And you couldn't even troubleshoot the problem that I had with my computer, because it was the Windows sign-in that crashed, of all things. You couldn't sign in with the password, and it just crashed it. So the customer service, I paid all that money, and they came in. They could not fix my printer because it was a wire problem that I ended up figuring out myself. And the guy's like, I just don't know what to tell you. It wouldn't print color from the computer. It printed as a copy, but it wouldn't print from the computer. So I told my husband, it was so funny because we were walking around Walmart, and I'm like, my teacher always told me never overlook the obvious. And it was a wireless printer. And I told him, I hate wireless products. I just do. I never did like wireless. And I told him, I said, how much you want to bet? I said, I'm going to buy a cord, and I'm going to hook up my printer. And as soon as I did, the color started working. All it was a freaking cord. A whole year, I did not use my printer because of a cord. And they couldn't tell me an answer. So I called back. I said, you can take all that money I just paid you and shove it, because I figured it out my damn self. And I said it was the cord. It was the wireless connection that wouldn't connect. Oh. So I canceled their little customer service thing. So if it goes goodbye, then it just goes goodbye. And sometimes it makes you wonder if they don't sabotage your computer to make money. I wonder that at times. Just like these antiviruses they have on the market. Sometimes I think they pick up their own viruses as themselves as a virus so that you buy it. I don't trust, as you can tell. I don't trust anything. That's what we were talking earlier on the stream about the shots. I said, I'm not getting those damn shots. My government can try to mandatory me all they want, but they're not taking my freedom away. I will take those shots only once I see their long-term effects out of beta stage and I know that they're going to work. Until then, you can shove your COVID shots, because I don't take anything that's brand new that hasn't been tested for a period of time. I have not stopped traveling. I have not stopped working. Yeah, Terrell. That's how I feel too. I feel it should be the person's choice. I want to see what's going to happen. Because right now, you know, I've heard people saying they got headaches and certain things, and they've had side effects, mainly to shot 2 in my family, the second one. It was like headaches and stuff like that that people were telling me. But that's just the now. What about long-term consequence? I don't know. I just don't trust things, especially a government that's filled with assholes. Who the hell would trust them? I don't trust our government on anything they say. This is why I like not being paid by YouTube. I could say how I feel, and I don't have to censor myself. It's my philosophy. Look how many pages I'm pulling out of this still. Cleaning this up. Yeah, me too, Mr. Me too. Amen. It's sad though. You too, when you see people getting paid on here. Some people it's okay, but I've seen so many beggars on here lately, all about numbers and watch time and blah 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 blah. And I got this, and it's like I could care less about numbers on here. Matter of fact, I've been thinking about hiding how many subscribers I have because I don't care about the numbers. One point I had some friends that were encouraging me, and they were like, oh, go for getting paid. And yeah, I fell into that for a little bit, but then I wised up and I'm like, no, I enjoy it because I feel like what I've seen when people start getting paid on here, I see them so stressed out. And I don't want to be stressed. I come on here to relax. I just don't want to deal with the stress part of it. I don't want to rely on anything YouTube has to offer because, you know, we thought Yahoo Chat would be here forever and it left. And you just never know. They change the rules all the time. They change so much that I just wouldn't want to work for a company like that anyways. I like change, but change for the better. Not change where you take away from people. And two, I've watched people grow on here, and there's some that stayed true to who they were, and some when they grew got so snobby they didn't even acknowledge you when you were the person, when the people helped grow their channel. I don't like that either. Using people as stepping stones to get your growth, and then you don't care about them. Can't deal with it. Can't relate. So I cleaned up a good bit of this. I got the pages ripped out that I wanted to get ripped out. And then probably I'm going to have to dye some more pages. Because I bake my dyed pages. I probably will do that sometime this week. Before next Wednesday, so I have dyed papers. I think I still have a few coffee dyed laying here. I have like 3 coffees. So I'm going to need way more than that. So I'm going to have to dye some of that and figure out what other color I'm going to put in this. I might do mint green. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have. And what colors. To dye up. I do have a paper cutter somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. Like a little thing I could stick in here and scrape some of this out, but I don't know where it's at the moment. I don't think I have it down here. Nope, all I got's paintbrushes. At least we got the book torn. The page is torn out of it and all that happy stuff. This one here will have a lot more pockets than the last one I just worked on. That's good. This is one of my favorite ways to do a book, Sandy, but I have a variety because I like signatures too. I have multiple tastes. I'm working on another journal offline. It's going to take forever. I've been working on it since October, November. It's going to be signatured and it's going to be very detailed. Nothing like this. I went outside of the box and I started working on it, doing something I never thought I would do, even the style of it, because I just wanted to see how much I could push myself. And I pretty much got the cover done. I got the signatures ready. The only thing that I'm working on right now, and it's going to be my first hidden spine, but it's going to be signature, but they're hidden signatures. I've never done a hidden one before. And the only thing I got left really is I want to embellish it. The embellishing part's the only part that I need to do on it. And then sew it in. And I can't decide if I want to embellish it before I sew it in or wait until after it's sewed in to finish it. Because I got some embellishings in it so far. But that's my biggest issue that I need to work on is my embellishing. Because I'm the type of journaler, because to me, I think that there's 2 kinds of journals. Well, actually 3 kinds of journals on here. I think there is junk journals, which is typically made of just junk. And I find crafty journals are on here. And then there are crafty journaling journals. Because I see people sometimes over embellish so much in a journal that there's really not a lot of writing space. That's what I consider a crafty journal. Now, a crafty journaling journal is one that you can actually have just as much writing space. I would say more writing space and less embellishing, but there is still embellishing in it. Yeah. Well, I did a couple of them that were gator mouthed. Like my cat one, my memory cat one. This one's a gator mouth. My memory of my cats. That's definitely a gator mouth. But this is not for rating purposes. This to me is just a memory. Like I want just mainly pictures in this of my kitty cats. And if I want to write a date or two or something around it, I could, but this is not really for writing to me. This is more for stashing. But it's a gator mouth. And but as far as like as a journaler personally, I like more writing area. But I think it's cute to have something to look at while you're doing it. I don't know. You know what? Wait a minute. I'll give you a good example. Hold on a minute. It's on my shelf. I'll show you one of my favorites. Oh, this is the only one of mine I kept that was like this. The rest I sold. But hold on, I'll show it to you because I got it on the shelf down here. Oof. The end of every year, I like showing the journals I used the previous year. When I was making this, I didn't decide to keep it till it was done. This is the size I like, is the 6x9. Notice the difference. This one here is going to be a lot smaller. Yeah, I've watched Nick the Booksmith, except I don't do what she does. I don't use bookboard from scratch. I've just used regular books because of having a bookstore. I have a lot that come through here that are falling apart. But anyways, when I journal, I'm the type of person, I like looking at something and maybe daydreaming a little bit while I'm writing. So when I created this one, this is what I had in mind. Of course, I love horses. We know that. And there's like a moth on the bottom. And I actually, hold on, let me move this out of the way. I actually created this to sell and then decided to keep it because I just liked it. I love everything in here because I can stare at this stuff and daydream. I left these pages blank to add pictures to later because like you can go back and add to your journals whenever you want. But this is the journaling. My coffee dyed paper. And then there's a scene. And then there's more journaling. This is my particular type of journal. And then here's a pocket. This is what this one, the one I'm working on right now is going to kind of turn out like this. There's a pocket. And then I did half and then wrote, this page was made this way. And then here's a page. And I put paper clips where the hidden spots were so I could go back and put stuff in them later. And then here's the one that's up and down. It's the way you glue the pages. Look at this page. And I like putting funny animals and stuff in them. So these were all National Geographics. People throw them away like you would not believe. And they're so crazy because they have the most fabulous photos. And you see, this is a little crinkly from the glue, but I'm okay with that because like I said, it gives it character. And then there's the scenery, which I love fall. And I just love the colors. And then here was a deer with a little bird landing on it. Like, this is me. This is something I want to look at when I'm journaling. And these are all of my coffee dyed papers. And I love it that you get grunge with beautifulness. And then these pages here are the ones I fold back. And this is kind of like an abstract art to me because I'll cut pieces to fit in, but I wanted to show the words as a line because I love these pages. When they're folded down like this, I think that looks so cool. And then this was a page in the book. And even though Mickey Mouse and a kitty cat has nothing to do with wildlife, I left it in there just because I thought it was stinking cute. The kitty cat looks naughty. He's like, I'm peeking at you. And then this is another pocket. And I just love it. This is, and the more I got to looking through it as I was creating it, I fell in love with this book. Like I thought, oh my God, I would so journal in something like this. So I kept it. And I used it. And look at this little tiger. Look at that baby. And the pockets are cute because I can take pieces of my coffee dyed paper and fill in spots that need covered. But look how cute that is. Like I like having like a peekaboo animal in these half pockets. And I fold them and then put them in. But like this is stuff that I love in a journal. Now I do know I used a journal here recently that I like, but it's not as much as my style. I had bought it off of someone. What I noticed about it was the pages weren't wide enough for me. Like they had lace on it and it cut off. It was a smaller book first off. So when they put the lace on it, cut it off, and a lot of words as you were writing got cut off. And the other thing that I didn't like was specific digitals they stuck in it. I don't mind a digital as long as it's pale in the background. Like, I'll talk about it at the end of the year when I show the journals and show what I'm talking about. But some of the digitals that have pictures and stuff are really pretty. But when you go to write on them, you can't see your writing. The picture's too dark. Now, sometimes you'll see like part of the page has like more of a paleness and then it goes into pictures. I leave the pictures alone and just write on the pale part. But it's going to be really hard if somebody gets a hold of that journal from me and they try to read it. Like if I leave it for my kids when I pass away, it's going to be hard for them to read those pages because I had to really push on my ink pen to get it to show over the digital. So I wasn't really impressed with that print. I mean, it's a beautiful for decoration or to use as pictures. Like if you're putting pictures in it to use as like your frame in the back, look at your picture like a background and have your picture over top of it. But as far as writing on those pages, I didn't like it. So I'm like learning as I go along what's my preference. I don't mind journals that are eclectic sometimes where they have up and down and then they have line pages to the side and you've got to turn them like this and write in them. But I prefer a journal that's straight up and down. I don't like having to write sideways. It's not my favorite. It's not something I wouldn't do. It's just not my favorite type of journal. This is my favorite type of journal. Totally up and down. Lines or not. I mean, I would prefer lines because I have a tendency of writing downhill. But if it doesn't have lines, I'm okay with it. But if you notice, this whole journal's up and down. There's no sideways to writing in this one. So even though I think eclectic journals are pretty, they're not my favorite for journaling. I think they're better for maybe like a keepsake and putting pictures and stuff in. But this is my favorite, one of my favorites. My other favorite that I did is my Holly Hobby one, and I haven't showed that one yet. It's not finished. It's done with Holly Hobby fabric. I have it upstairs. I made 2 of them, and I sold one and kept one. That would have to be another favorite of mine because it's like an up and down. It's pretty. But you learn, you know, as you go through and you buy off of other sellers. Like I bought a lot of journals off of different people to kind of get a taste of what I like. And I have favorites, and then I have ones that they're okay, but it wouldn't be something I'd want to purchase again. So I just, if I go through it the first time, and I'll use it because I won't let something go to waste. But you just learn, you know, everybody's different on how they like to journal. Some people like just using pictures and not writing at all. Depends on what your preference is. What I want to see is what people do with my journals after they get them. I want to see how they make it theirs. That would be awesome. To see what they change to make it more them, you know, because when you buy your, hey, how are you doing, Vanessa? Sweet, sweet Vanessa. I went over and watched a couple of her videos. I like her channel. But you just got to find your niche, you know what I mean? Just buy a couple different styles of journals and then find what you like, unless you already know. But I like experimenting too. Like I like buying different journals just to see, you know, how I can craft them and how I would utilize them. Did I show you that little blue one? Sandy, did you see my little blue one that Teresa P got for me at a BMOS channel before you leave? Like this type of journal here is a wee baby one. I think this was Graphic 45. Somebody told me BMOM Els made this. And she had it at one of her things. Now this here to me would not be a writing journal. This here to me would be a little brag picture book. I love this. I think this is flipping adorable. She's got these little tags here with sayings on them. And I could see putting pictures on those too. Putting something like this in your purse. And like having your grandkids' pictures or whatever. And this would be my little brag book. I just think this is stinking cute. But it's not long enough for me to use as a writing journal. This to me would be more of a picture journal. I love this. Yes. A little brag book. I think this is just stinking cute. And sometimes when you see these in videos, when they're selling them, they don't look as cute. I mean, this is really cute. Like I like this better in person than what I seen it on YouTube. Sometimes it just does no justice for products. I know I have a lot of paper that I'll show, and it'll look, it's blue, but it shows purple. Sometimes YouTube messes with our color. But I love that little book from Elsa's. I will cherish that book. Alrighty. You have a good night and you get some rest. I hope your doctor's appointment goes good. I'll send prayers your way that you have a good doctor's appointment. I gotta send some prayers tonight for Mel's hubby. And for Diva. My little princess Diva that come in here. If anybody else needs prayers, hey, we have good prayer warriors. My Facebook does too. So if anybody else needs prayers, just please drop a line and let me know. Yeah, I think I'm going to be heading out too as soon as I finish cleaning this book up. I'm going to take these little pieces off and see how many pages I have, but I think I'm pretty good with this for how it turned out. I just hope the lady that I make it for likes it. She's one of my mother's friends, so we shall see. One of my mom's childhood friends. I did one of these for my mom, and she saw it at her house. I was like, that's so cute. So I'm going to surprise her. I don't, sometimes I sell my journals, sometimes I just make them, and I've done some as giveaways if they haven't sold, or just made them for family. I just like doing them because they're fun. If you have a favorite book that you love and it's falling apart and it's sentimental to you and you like the cover and you think, oh, this is sad, but I want to keep the book, then you can also turn it into a journal. And you can keep the cover and make it look pretty. This book here is not in bad shape. It just, nobody wanted to buy it. I put it up for sale a few times, and it's a Reader's Digest. So I just decided, since nobody's going to buy it, I'm going to turn it into a journal. I wanted to play with the size anyways, as an altered journal, because I never made one quite this small. It is hard, though. I don't know how some people get so deep in creating their journals and not want to keep them. Ugh. Some of the journals these people make on here are beautiful. So there we go. It's all cleaned out. Sometimes you'll see little pieces sticking out. You can go back and always try to dig some out, but the whole point was to make it smaller so that when you rebuild it with pages to write on, you have room. This is what an altered one's all about. This is the spine. This one's in pretty good condition. A lot of the spines on Reader's Digest are not made the greatest. They crack easy. This one here is on pretty good though. But these books are perfect because there's a gap right there. They're not glued in. So for people that don't know, when you do signatures, you can rip this entire piece out and do the whole signature thing inside this kind of book because it's not glued in. The glued in backs you can't do this with unless you take them apart. And I do have another book cover. I don't use book boards because I haven't really had the need to get book boards. But this was another book that I tore apart because I used the floral pictures. I love this cover. So this one here, I can put back together, rebuilding a spine and make it as wide as I want to. This one here could go in or it could go out. And you can use cardboard off a cereal box. You just got to make sure it's the same length as your book. It matches the length of it, and then you put it in, and you can put fabric or whatever and glue it on. I'll have to show you how to do that another time. But this here, I kind of want to turn into a, I don't want to use this for journaling. I think this book I want is like a, I don't know if I want to turn this into a glue book or if I want to make this just into a regular scrapbook, because I really like the size of this. But I like the cover because I like the flowers. So I have that one. That book I actually bought to do this with. To do something with because I liked it. I can't remember whose sale I got that off of. Oops. Most of the time, I prefer to take books apart that are falling apart. But hey, if nobody wants them, I would rather take it apart than put it in a landfill. So I'm upcycling. I got over my guilt of ripping apart books that aren't falling apart. My problem is I want to read them all. And then if you read them, you really don't want to tear them apart. You want to keep them. So I'll save these. Put these aside. And then next Wednesday, hopefully I'll have dyed paper to be able to continue this, or I'll work on something else. But I would like to do this so everybody sees how it turns out before I give it to the person it's going to go to. But I like it. This is going to be fun to rebuild. Might take a little bit though, because I have pictures I need to save for this one. And I got to figure out what to put on the cover. This has got a little bit of discoloration on the back, but that doesn't matter because I can cover that too. So this is the lesson for tonight, how to take the pages out. And like I said, you have to count all of the pages, not just the ones that are numbered. You got to count the leaf page and all of them. This had 588 pages. I divided it by 2 because I don't want to count as 1 and 2 front and back. I want to count this is 1 page, this is 2 page, and so forth, because you are going to be covering front and back of some of these pages. That's time consuming. So when I divided it by 2, it came out to 264 pages. And then me trying to take it down to 50, which I did leave it higher than that. But I divided 50 into 264, which left me cutting out or ripping out 5 pages, I would say. I count 5 pages and I ripped out 3 when I should have ripped out 5, but I only did 3 to take it down as close to 50 as possible. Because even if you have 50 pages, you're still going to have to cover 100. And that's what's going to be time consuming, is putting the dyed paper in. And pictures, whatever you decide to cover the page with, because it's not going to be just dyed papers. And then you don't want to rip where the tears are. How you do it is, okay, see how I have 1 here, and then I have 2 pages, no rips, and then another, is because these are going to be turned into pockets. So because this one's going to cover where this is ripped, then it's not going to leave me any free pages in between. That's what's important about where you rip, because this is going to be a pocket, and so is this, and it's going to cover all the ripped out parts, because I'm going to turn them all into pockets. So this one's going to have a lot of pockets. I mean, you can do it counting 8 pages and ripping out so many. You don't have to do 5. I just pick a random number and start ripping. And then there you go. You have it down to where you can rebuild it. And you're still going to have the book. And then the excess pages, like these, you can take these and turn them into anything you want. You can cut this part off where it's torn, or you can just leave it ripped and use it in to something else. But what I like to do with these is, this is fun to cut these off, or you could turn these into envelopes. Like you can put this here, fold it. And you can cut it here. And then turn it around and cut it here. And I'm a lefty, so it might look backwards to you. And then you can take this, fold it in this side, and fold it in. This is one of the quickest things I like doing with these. There's so many different things you can do with paper pages. And then you take this, you can do this along the edge on the bottom. You fold this up. And voila, you have a tiny envelope. There's one thing you can do with it. Or you can take another page. I like cutting the, if you're making envelopes, it's better not to have like a torn look. But this is another type of envelope I like making with these. I like cutting down the words just so it looks better. And then you take this. You can bend it up. And you can bend this down. These are my homemade envelopes. They have a lot of envelope types that you can do. They have templates that they show on Google of all different kinds. Let me just put this here. These are fun to cover with napkins. Then you have this style envelope. Or you can go cut it again. I love paper. Or you can do it like this. Take your top part, come down like this. Come down on the other side. I gotta cut it again. I made it a tad too long, but that happens. And I'm not the straightest cutter in the world. Oops. And you can do it like this. And make this style envelope. Come on. My glue does not like me today. And then sometimes I might cut it down just a little bit again because I can't cut straight for crap. Just so the ends don't stick out. And there you go. Another little envelope. Or you can take it again. Just make it to where this is a little down from the top. Glue it again. Come on, glue. I'm going to turn it over, see where I hang over because I don't cut straight. Cut off the edges. And then I have this handy dandy little puncher called a thumb punch. Come in the center, hit punch, and then you have that little circle there. And you can put stuff down in here. And you can even distress the sides if you want to. There's so many cool things you can do with paper. I'm being lazy. I'm using the actual ink pen instead of my little distress tool. And you can grunge it up into a pocket. And then this is cool because, let me see if I can get another piece of paper. We'll use this white one. And you could take and stick the card right down in there, and there's your pocket. So many fun things to do with paper. So this will not go to waste. The pages that I tore out will definitely be used in some way or form. And if you're into the rip look, you can even do that. Take this off. This off. Use this paper as a backboard. And take and cut just the solid edges off. You can take this. Let's do this top first. Rip it. Take this page, rip it some more. Take some distress ink. Just to ink up the edges to make it look pretty. Give it a little bit of grunge. Set this aside. Glue it about right here. Come on. Oops, I didn't mean to glue the top. Hold on. I'll tear that off since I made a boo-boo. And you put it on this paper, and this could be right here. I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. Hold on. So we have that, and we're going to get another piece of paper. Tear this, or cut it, I should say. Cut this. Cut this. Check this piece off. And then you could take this part and do the same thing. We'll do this one a little smaller. Then we'll come across the top. Down the side. Down the side. We're going to grunge it. Quick tips before I gotta go. Like I said, you want to make sure there's no smut on these too. Glue here. I usually turn it upside down. So I do the sides and that's the bottom. And then flip it up. Put it on here. And then voila. You have we use these two pieces of paper because they're different colors. You have a tuck pocket here. A tuck pocket here. And you could probably even put a third one in the middle. And there's right there for a journaling page. Decorate this with something and poof, you're done. That's what I like doing with my papers that's left over. Multiple stuff. All kinds of goodness. So that works. Coolness. And that's why I like paper. Fun stuff, fun stuff. So much more. But I don't have time tonight. That's just a few things I like doing with excess paper. And some of these can be used to collage. I usually recycle the blank pieces. And then save these pieces. Not the wee teeny ones, but like these pieces are great to collage with. The little torn ones. And then like these, I just recycle because I'm never going to use them. I tested myself by keeping a bunch of scrap papers and seeing what I would reuse versus what I don't reuse. And these ones I usually don't. But the word ones are cool if you're making ACTs. And you want to have little torn pieces with words. The rest go to this recycling. None of this will see a landfill. I take this to a recycling center myself. So there we go. A night full of tearing paper. And this will go into my little scrap pile. Okay. So for everybody that came, thank you so much for coming. This was fun. Can't wait to see how this book is going to turn out. I'm pretty excited. And I'm going to have to do some major looking for some things to put in it for her. So it'll be fun. And whatever time zone you're in, I hope you're having a great one. And I'll see you soon. I'll be back tomorrow with some videos. Bye. Mwah.